Hey everyone, I'm Parker, co-founder of Deco Exchange. Ever been told that crafting is just a hobby? Well, we've turned our passion for crafting into a thriving 8-figure business, surrounded ourselves with an incredible community, and learned countless valuable lessons along the way. From navigating business challenges to celebrating wins, we've seen firsthand that makers mean business. Join me as we dive deep into these stories, strategies, and secrets behind making your craft a successful enterprise. Because here at Makers Mean Business, we're all about proving that makers aren't just making, they're building dreams and running businesses. What is up, everyone? It is Parker here with the Makers Mean Business podcast. Y'all, I'm back for episode 2 of our shipping series. Today, I want to talk a little bit about packaging. I know in the last episode, I gave y'all the basics of shipping and just some general ideas to start talking or start thinking about so that when we talk about them, it makes more sense. So I know last episode we talked a little bit about how the size of the box kind of plays a lot into the pricing. So today's episode, I really want to just talk a lot about just packaging in general. It's a very important thing, not only for price, but also for safety, for preserving your product, for making sure that everything gets where it's supposed to go. It's one of the first, I'd say probably one of the first most important things to think about. If you've ever shipped before, or if you've never shipped before, the first thing I'm thinking that you guys are probably wondering is like, where do you get your boxes? We work directly with a provider or a manufacturer. I realize that probably doesn't work for most people because you have to buy in such high quantities. So I'm going to throw some names out there. These are not sponsored. I don't have any kind of kickback from any of this stuff. We just talk a lot about it in the business coaching group. So we've found some places that work really well for a lot of people. We also used to not ship tens of thousands of packages a month. So I know what it's like, or I still remember what it's like to just have one or two things that you need. So a few places that come to mind. Uline is a great option if you go through a good amount of boxes. I realize it's not the fit for a lot of people because it is still a higher quantity. Also, freight can really increase the price of that stuff. So if you're not shipping a lot, if you're not getting a whole bunch at one time, then Uline might not be a good option, but I think it's a really great option for a lot of smaller businesses. One other thing you can look at too is your local, maybe it's not your local, but a local box manufacturer. If there's one in your town or if one a few towns over, you can usually get pretty good pricing, and it works out really well because you can, in our experience at least, you can just go pick them up. So you can place an order and say, hey, just hold them for me, I'll go grab them, and you can get a good price and not have to pay shipping or freight for it, which is really great. So I want to add that one in there as well. Of course, there's the good old trusty Amazon. You can add that stuff to cart and get some delivered to you. Probably not the best pricing that you can get, but it is very convenient if you ran out of a certain size, or if you need a random size, or if you don't have any at all and you need them pretty quick. Amazon's a great option. And then a few other options that are probably great for really anyone, the normal shipper or the typical seller. If you have a Stein's nearby, that's a great option. If you have a Home Depot, there's the moving boxes, which can be very helpful. Gosh, there was one other. I knew I should have written it down, but I don't remember what it was. Let's just say your box stores, y'all. There's your home improvement stores. There's your regular, I call them box stores, but it's not actually, they don't sell boxes. I mean like big box stores typically have some kind of boxes that you can use if it carries the size that you need. So those are some great options where you can just get some boxes. Another thing I'll add here is all boxes are not created equal. There's different kind of rigidity. There's different kinds of strength to the different types of cardboard. So you're really going to want to pay attention to that. Some boxes are super duper flimsy. Some are super duper thick. So you really want to find some that work for what you're doing and what you're shipping. So just keep that in mind as well. Feel free to put your hands on them and see. I wouldn't suggest bending them because if you bend them, you lose the strength in the cardboard. But you can get a kind of feel for how soft or how hard they are. So keep that in mind too. I did want to bring up some other, it's not specifically boxes, but it goes hand in hand with packaging. Bubble wrap, packing peanuts. We use packing paper. It's like butcher paper if you don't know. So there's a whole lot of other stuff that you can use in tandem with boxes that can be useful depending on what you're trying to ship. When we ship our wreaths, we don't use any kind of internal packing. However, when we are shipping other things, we do implement other package material. if it's necessary. So it's like butcher paper, y'all. We go through a lot of it. It's packing paper. The business calls it void fill. It just basically fills the empty spaces in the box and kind of holds everything in place. That's a really great option. It's lightweight, it's low cost. You don't really want to use very much because that probably means your box is not the right size. But sometimes you just can't get a custom size box for every little thing that you want to ship. So using something like that is very helpful. On a similar note, the packing peanuts, we have used those before, mostly when we ship centerpieces or like really weird shaped stuff that kind of just, it's delicate, but also oddly shaped. And then I think I brought up one other thing, bubble wrap. We use a decent amount of bubble wrap too, depending on what the product is. A lot of our long, skinny, fragile picks or sprays or things that are breakable, we'll wrap them in bubble wrap. So that's a really great thing that you can do as well. And y'all, I know you might look at some of the prices and be like, man, I don't really want to spend this. Everything I'm talking about here when it comes to pricing, it's like a trade-off. Do you invest the money in the packaging paper and the bubble wrap and all of that stuff? Or are you going to have enough damage to your products where you're going to lose the money on having to reship something or having something break that you're going to have to refund the customer? So you really want to consider that whenever I'm talking about some of this stuff. For the longest time, and like I said, even for wreaths, we don't use any of that stuff. But I did want to bring it up so that you are at least aware of it, that it's out there, that it's an option, it's something that you can do. So that's where I am with packaging. One more kind of really fun topic, honestly, a really exciting topic that I want to talk about when it comes to packaging. A lot of people, even us to an extent, have really cute custom boxes. And that can be fun, and that can be, maybe, is sexy the word? It can make it feel special. It can make it feel unique. It can be just really cool. It can be great for brand awareness. It could be a lot of really positive things. It can be expensive to have custom made boxes. It can be expensive to have colored boxes. It can be expensive to have all these other, like, you can do all kinds of stuff with boxes now. It's really cool. But as someone just starting out, it may not be the best option, but some other lower price things that you can do is consider a sticker or a stamp. A stamp is a low investment thing. You can have one custom made with your business name on it. It can have a thank you note on it. It can have all kinds of stuff. And you can just stamp it on the box. You can stamp it all over the box, and it doesn't really cost you anything extra once you get the stamp made. So that's something you can do. Something that we do on our doormats and on our other kind of oddly shaped stuff that we don't have boxes for specifically. If we put it in a bubble mailer or a bag or something, we'll put a sticker on it, just like a thank you sticker or a thanks for your order, thanks for supporting a small business. If you guys are on our Wreath Supply Box subscription box, we send out sticker packs because we know people put them on their packages. So that's another thing that you can do to make your box stand out instead of just a boring old cardboard box. If that's not at all interesting to you, then you definitely don't have to do it. We didn't do it for a long time, but it's just something that's really low cost, low effort, especially when we're talking about the stamps and the stickers. You can get those really, really cheap until you're ready to maybe invest in some custom boxes, or maybe you just never want to do that, so you don't have to do that either. But I wanted to bring those up, y'all. I think those are all really great options for customizing your box. So just to summarize today's episode, we talked a little bit about where to get boxes. There's different types of boxes, to be careful with that. We talked about different types of packaging material. And then we talked a little bit about how you can make your box stand out or not stand out, or some options for that. All right, y'all, with that being said, that summarizes our packaging and packaging material episode. Next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about shipping pricing. We're going to deep dive a little more into what that all means, what happens with it, some ways to try to help reduce shipping cost. I know it's really expensive, so we'll have some fun conversations with that. Y'all, that concludes this episode. You can make sure and follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave us a review. I would love to hear your feedback either way. All right, y'all, I'll catch you next episode.